Wow, that was kind of a tough thing to say. But you know what? Cardi B might actually be right. She may be justified and right, to be quite honest with you. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your favorite panderer, Omar, aka Omeezy. And I know, it's been a long time, but I do have some good news. I graduated college. Hey, shouts out to me, man. Congratulations. Shouts out to the 2023 graduates. I graduated college. That's why I haven't been making videos quite often, is because I needed to really lock in on those finals. I'm very thankful for the journey. I do have some other content that talks more about the journey, and if you join my memberships, you'll be able to see all the behind the scenes of that. But yeah, I'm glad to be, done with that big part of my life. I'm thankful for the road, and it's finally over. But with all that being said, if you want more content on it, check out my channel, check out the memberships. We need to get into this Cardi B situation and talk about the double standards in Hollywood. If that's your first time seeing this clip, Cardi B, well-known rapper, well-known TV star, well-known entertainer in the industry, she said that she used to participate in drugging men, taking them back to hotels, getting them drugged up and drunk and all this other stuff, and then taking them for their money. That's what she said. She meant it. And to be honest with you, the question rises, why isn't she canceled? Why isn't nobody saying anything about that? The truth of the matter is nobody actually cares. Nobody cares what a former stripper did/does during her time as a sex worker or whatever the case may be. Now, Cardi B later on goes on to clarify why she did what she did and, why she had to do what she did in order to survive in that industry. She also does give a little bit more elaboration here when she says that she did not have sex with those men.
People want to come at me like, oh, bitch, you're the wrong messenger. You're the wrong messenger. Then you robbing. Man, and it's like, listen, y'all not gonna keep doing this, because when it comes to fucking weird ass and shit, I'm really like, I don't play that shit. I really don't fucking play that shit. And for y'all to like trying to say that I'm like some girl, I'm some weird bitch because they wanted to buy from me, and a lot of y'all be like, oh, these were vulnerable men you took advantage of. These were not no fucking vulnerable men. These are some freak ass that like to go to the club, they like to get drunk. And after the club is closed, they trying to fucking take advantage of bitches and trying to bargain. No, I'm gonna go through them fucking pockets. And then y'all be like, you rob them. Did I touch their body? Did I touch their ass? Did I touch them? Did I put my lips on them? No type of fucking. Don't confuse. And even if y'all claim, oh, you robbed them, was robbing and happiness, two different type of shit. So don't call me no. Don't fucking play with my name like that, because I don't play that shit.
And I think it's important to take a step back and realize what makes somebody go into this type of lifestyle, this sex work industry, and figure out why I'm even framing that it was okay for her to do what she said she did. And not saying that I'm just a panderer, but let's figure out what I'm talking about. So if you take a step back and look at why Cardi B talked about, the reasons as to why she got into the stripping game, as to why she ended up being in the club. She used to be somebody from the Bronx, New York, I believe. And she was working at a grocery store, going into community college, and people were convincing her that she needed to become a dancer.
I was dancing. I had to quit school because I had a day job, and my day job, they wasn't paying me much. Like, I was getting $200 a week, and I needed that job. Like, I was living with my first boyfriend. My first boyfriend was broke himself, so it was just like I had to feed my own self. And day job and school, it wasn't working out. I ended up failing. Like, even before I failed, I was like, let me just quit so I won't have to pay these motherfuckers back. and I got fired from that day job. Like, I really got fired from that day job. And the manager, I was like losing my mind, and I was tearing, and he was like, he was Turkish, and he was like, you got a nice body, look at you, you're very pretty, why don't you go across the street? I know the manager there, like, they're going to take you. And I was like, really? And I went across the street, and like what I made in a week, I really made it in a few hours.
But with that life comes a whole different set of people, personalities, and obstacles that you do have to face. Now, I'm not gonna act like dancing or taking your clothes off sex work is all woe is me. The cash is great. The money is great. It's there, especially if you're somebody who has the look, has the mouthpiece, all those things. However, and what I talk about often and what people don't really talk about and ignoring the situation is the things that come with getting that money. It causes you to put some of your morals to the side in order to chase a bag. It causes you to put up with a bunch of different, stuff like domestic violence, abuse, whether it be sexual or physical or even verbal, in order for you to get your money. And Cardi B talks about these things and why she kept dancing. Ultimately, it was to escape a domestic violence situation she needed to get out of.
I was forced practically to move with my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend actually. And you know what? Every girl, I think, always want to move with their boyfriend and everything, right? Everybody wants to move with their boyfriend until you living with them, especially if you living with their mama, their 2 pit bulls, and their sisters and whatever, and they start stealing your little shmoney, and you can't eat, and then you start getting beat, like, oh, damn, you just let me in my face like that? And
it was like, this ain't what I signed up for.
This ain't what I signed up for. I got fired from my job, and they told me, like, to work across the street from Amish Market in New York Dolls, be a stripper. And it's like, all right. And it's so crazy that the first day that I worked there, I made $300.
And so I think it's hard for somebody to understand who's not in that lane. There's no model victim in this situation. But was Cardi B considered a victim because those men came and preyed on her in the strip club with the attempts to, have her dance and all these things, get her liquored up, take advantage of her X, Y, and Z, and her beating them to the punch? Is it that bad in that regard? I mean, this is a multifaceted conversation. From the experiences that I have with people that work in that industry, a lot of them were sex trafficked to get into the game, just period. And then while being in the strip clubs, a lot of them dealt with verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, just a bunch of different types of abuse on top of abuse on top of abuse, to the point where they then become the abusers. So it is hard to say, how somebody is right, wrong, left, sideways. We can talk about the actions they did, but why I'm really having this conversation is to determine why there is a double standard for Cardi B and some of her other contemporaries in the same genre or in the same arena. You see, the difference between a situation like Cardi B's versus these other stars like Chris Brown or Trey Songz or R. Kelly even, is that there's a continued pattern of abuse. Jonathan Majors is another example who's getting canceled by Disney as we speak, and there's many more people that, people call for their cancellation but question why Cardi B hasn't been canceled. And if we take a look at it, Cardi B, since Love and Hip Hop, since those days of her dancing in X, Y, and Z, has shown nothing but, I guess, remorse, if that's the word to use, for her actions that she did in the strip club. She advocates for not doing dancing at all. She tells people they really need to understand what they get into before they get into the club life, because it is going to be filled with these harmful and toxic situations. But she has been nothing but remorseful, or at the very least not been continuing and perpetuating these ideas. She doesn't even talk about that stuff in her rap music, about robbing men and drugging them up and taking advantage of them. But on the opposite hand of that, we have situations like Chris Brown, who just recently got into a situation at Usher's Lovers Fest with Tiana Taylor, with Usher himself, and with some other people at the event. And then there's a laundry list, and I mean laundry list, of things that Chris Brown has done in the span of like 10, 15, 20 years or so since his initial incident with Rihanna, that has landed him back in the public spotlight again and again and again. If you take somebody like Trey Songz, Trey Songz has a laundry list of women coming out, putting accusations on his name and saying that he did these things, especially people like Keke Palmer, who has gone, for so long saying that these things happen with Trey Songz and she's been in these uncomfortable environments, only to be vindicated recently as other women have come forth and said something about Trey Songz. I mean, there's even men like Rory from the Joe Budden podcast, or formerly from the Joe Budden podcast, who have come out and spoke against Trey Songz as well.
In 15 years, however the fuck long it's going to be, that Trey Songz doc is going to be crazier than the R. Kelly one. Trey Songz is the most nasty, abusive, rapey, beats the shit out of women. Like, he is the scum of the fucking earth. Trey Songz is fucking disgusting. His doc is going to surpass, if you ever thought you could surpass an R. Kelly doc, I promise you in 15 years, Trey Songz, his doc will. He's an awful human being.
And of course, we could sit here and talk about R. Kelly, but do we need to talk about his repeated history of abusing women and even children? So if we look at these situations and ask ourselves, why isn't Cardi B looked in the same light as R. Kelly or Trey Songz or whoever else that falls into the category of abuse or doing something strange or dangerous, is because she was in the sex work industry. And I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying that she was wrong either. I'm saying that those are the things that that come with that type of lifestyle. That's why I preach against it. That's why I am against that work. I understand that utilizing your body, for financial gain is great. It's uplifted so many people from poverty. It's put them in a different situation to where they could actually eat and thrive. It's taken them out of, situations where they were financially dependent on somebody else. So they dealt with a bunch of abuses from there. It's put people through school. It's done wonders. However, there's been a rise in people just jumping onto these different platforms, whether it be a poll or it be on a computer, and putting sex work as their identity and brandishing it as something to be highly regarded. I think they said like the average sex worker or average dancer makes $100 every 2 weeks or something like that. And that's drastically different than Cardi B, who said she was making $250 a week in the store as a clerk, and then shot up to thousands and thousands of thousands of thousands of dollars, even a night sometimes. That sounds glamorous, but that's not everybody's situation. And you have to have really thick skin to put up with that type of stuff that comes with being a dancer. And a lot of people don't have that thick skin, to be quite frank. So I'm saying she's not right for drugging people, for drugging men, taking advantage and robbing them. I also don't think that those men were right for either sexually abusing them, physically abusing her, verbally abusing her, manipulating her, all these things. I'm saying that this is a situation in which the underbellies of society have come to the mainstream and people are just taken aback by it. I don't believe she deserves to be canceled or, we need to hold her feet to the fire in any great manner, because honestly, she's remorseful about it. That's the way that I feel. And I'm pretty sure she's not continuing to perpetuate these same things again. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section below. Again, if you want to check out any of the conversation or any of the content from my graduation, I had a big party. I gave my thoughts about college and stuff like that. Feel free to become a member. It's $2.99 right now. Just shows that you support me and want me to make content. I'm back though, baby. Until next time, peace out.